Hey guys, welcome to Man City Fan TV. This is the Fantasy Football Week 4 review. So thank you for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and look at which players have performed this week, which players you were clever to pick, and which ones you shouldn't have picked. So let's start with we're going to start with the strikers. So let's go to the forwards. We're going to go ahead and see which forwards performed this week in the Premier League. So you can see there, straight away at the top, we've got obviously Jamie Vardy. So Jamie Vardy did really well. He returned 16 points this week. And if you remember on last week's video, I was actually saying Jamie Vardy would be a bit of a gamble to pick. So I was a little bit wrong this week because he went ahead, he scored 2 goals and he returned 16 points. So overall, this season he's got 28 points on the board. And then obviously that man, Sergio Aguero, the absolute legend, the best Premier League striker for me of all time. He's got the best strike rate of all time. And he returned 16 points. He got 2 goals. And he's on 40 for the season now. And then if we look at Tammy Abraham, you'll remember on last week's review, I mentioned that I was quite impressed with Tammy Abraham. I thought in the first game against Manchester United, he did struggle. He missed a couple of opportunities, but that was his first real game for Chelsea as their main frontman. But since then, he's added a couple of goals. He got a couple again this week, and he returned 13 points, and he's returned overall 28 points. So Tammy Abraham, a little bit of a surprise package. He came back to Chelsea. I think he was out on loan last season, but he's come back and he's performing well. And then as we scroll down, we've got Firmino. So Firmino, obviously a good player for Liverpool, really strong season. Firmino has already got 27 points on the board. He's returned 12 in this game week. Firmino, if you've got him in your team, you're going to pretty much get consistency every week. So pretty good value there as well. He's only 9.5 million. So for a striker at a top club who will be fighting for the title, that's a pretty good price. I'd say 9.5 million. So you can see there, in comparison to somebody like Aubameyang, who is 11 million, there's a little bit of value there in Firmino. But onto Aubameyang, you can see Aubameyang returned 9 points and is on 26 for the season. Aubameyang scored a goal in the North London derby. And then this man, Ayew, managed to return 9 points, and I'm happy with that because I went ahead and selected Ayew for my team this week. I made a few wholesale changes to my squads. I actually spent in the region of about 26 points making changes, so it cost me a lot of money to make the changes. And I made some strange ones actually because I removed Aguero from my team, and I know most of you are going to be like, what? Why would you move Aguero? But I did, and I brought in the likes of Son and Salah, just to break it up a little bit. And then up front, obviously I couldn't then afford to have an expensive striker, so I went for Ayew. He's only 5.1 million, but he did return a goal, so he did pretty well for me. So he's returned 9 points and he's on 20 for the season. And then as we scroll down, you can see Haller at West Ham. He's done well. He's returned 8 points. You've got Kane at Tottenham, returned 6. There he got a goal. Obviously, it was a penalty at the Emirates. And then you've got Lacazette, who scored a goal in the North London derby. And then as we move down, you've got Callum Wilson. Moise Kean for Everton returned 5 points. You've got Jimenez at Wolves. And then as we scroll down, some of the usual suspects. You've got King over at Bournemouth, Mopai as well. Rashford, obviously, in there as well. He's on 2 points for the week. And then Joe Linton. He's a guy that I want to keep an eye on. I must admit, Joe Linton, I think there's serious value in that kid. I think he's a good striker. I don't know what his injury record's like, so that is another thing. And then we've got Pukki. So Pukki has obviously been the star man so far this season in terms of the Fantasy League. He's returned 37 points. He was an unknown sort of quantity at the start of the season, but he's managed to come in and score quite a number of great goals, and he's somebody you do need to keep an eye on. That's for sure. So let's go ahead then and take a look at the midfielders. So we've looked at the forwards, and the main forwards are Vardy, Aguero, and Tammy Abraham. If you had those guys, good on you. You made a good choice this week. Well, let's go ahead and look at the midfielders. So in the midfield, we're looking at the top of the table there is Richarlison. So Richarlison at Everton returned 15 points this week. So a fantastic week for Richarlison. He's only returned 23 over the season. So it's a fantastic return of 15 points. You've then got Kevin De Bruyne, who returned 13 points, and he's 36 overall. And I'll be honest, I didn't think Kevin De Bruyne had his best game. So it just shows you the level that guy plays at, because I don't think he was at his best against Brighton, if I'm being honest. He didn't have a bad game, far from it, but I think he could have done a little bit better. There was opportunities where he was in and he could have finished. So that score could have been even better. And then we got Tielemans at Leicester. I think Tielemans, from some of the replays I've seen, was quite lucky to actually stay on the pitch. He may well have seen red. There was a challenge that he made which was a little bit iffy, but he managed to stay on the pitch and he returned 12 points. And then we got Robinson at Sheffield United, returned 11 points. El Mago, David Silva, returned 10 points. So a great game. David Silva was fantastic against Brighton. Probably our man of the match against Brighton. And he returned the 10 points and he's on 24 for the season. So quite a steady sort of season so far for David Silva. We all know the guy's a genius, so he's going to tick along, with great performances week in, week out. I suppose the question over David Silva is how many games will he play now those legs are getting a little bit older. We'll see. Obviously, it's his last season for City this season. And then we've got Hughes over at Watford. He returned 10 points. We've got Iwobi at Everton, had a cracking week. He returned 9 points. So a lot of people turned their noses up when Everton signed Iwobi, but the guy's done quite well for them. He managed to return 9 points this week. And then Mane at Liverpool, obviously on the score sheet, up at Burnley. Pretty much one-sided game that Liverpool destroyed Burnley. Burnley weren't in the game. And Sadio Mane returned 8 points, 25 for the season. You've got James, the next Messi, at Manchester United. He, to be fair, continues his good form, and he managed to score another goal at Southampton. So far he's doing quite well. He returned 8 points. He's on 21 for the season. So I'm calling him the next Messi, tongue-in-cheek, but the lad is doing well. And you have to hold your hands up when a player's doing well, regardless of the shirt that they're wearing. McTominay as well. So McTominay returned 8 points this week. He did quite well, and he's returned 15 for the season. And then you've got Eriksen at Spurs. He returned 8 points in the North London derby. Yarmolenko for West Ham. Obviously, West Ham picked up a win against Norwich. He returned 8 points as well. And then as we scroll down, we're going into some of the midfielders that performed strongly. Some of these are the guys who didn't necessarily score, but they performed very strongly. Some of them did score. But the likes of Guendouzi at Arsenal, he put in a cracking performance in the North London derby. You got Jorginho for Chelsea, Fraser at Bournemouth, Mo Salah, of course, he returned 6 points. So I actually had Mo Salah in my team for the first time this week, and he probably put in his worst performance. And it wasn't a bad performance. I think he scored a goal, but pretty typical of my fantasy football skills. First time I make a change, I bring him in and he has his bad week. So maybe a lesson learned. I should have stuck with the Manchester City player, kept Aguero in the team. You guys can absolutely batter me in the comments below for picking a Liverpool player over a City player, because I will deserve everything I get. And then as we move down, we've got Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva returned 6 points. He's got 10 for the season. We've got Hayden at Newcastle. Pepe at Arsenal. They're all raving about him, but to be honest, so far, the guy, he can't hit a barn door, can he? Let's be quite honest. He just cannot hit a barn door. So he's returned 5 points. So he's not had a bad week. But in the grand scheme of things, £72 million they signed him for. Probably should be doing a little bit more. And then if you look at the rest of the players here towards it, so you got Pulisic at Chelsea, Sigurdsson at Everton, Son at Spurs. He came into my team this week, returned 5 points for me. And then you've got the likes of Zaha, Schlupp and MacArthur. So in terms of the midfielders, the big performers this week, Richarlison at Everton, Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City, and Tielemans at Leicester. If you had any of those three, congratulations guys, that was a great selection. And I'm sure they did well for you this week. So let's go and take a look at the defenders. So the defenders. So here's an unfamiliar name. We don't always see this name at the top of the charts, but it's Masuaku for West Ham, and he returned 12 points, and that's 15 for the season. So he pretty much got all his points for the season this week. So great performance from Masuaku at West Ham. We've then got Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool. He returned 11 points, and you can see there the price of Alexander-Arnold is 7 million. So that's quite expensive for a fullback, but you're going to expect that for any Liverpool player. It's always going to be quite pricey when you're looking at Liverpool players already, the teams that are sort of fighting at the top. But if you look at Masuaku again, great value there, 4.5 million. So really good value for Masuaku. If you've got a bit of confidence in him, then go ahead and add him to the team. He might be a good player just to have in the squad there as backup. You've got Vestergaard as well for Southampton. He had a great week. He returned 11 points. Again, there's value there because he's only 5 million. So there might be a player you want to select to have in the squad. You can bring him in. Ward for Crystal Palace, another great squad player. You've got Shah at Newcastle. And to be fair, Shah at Newcastle is having a great season. He's doing quite well. He's on 19 points. He returned 8 points this week. But there is a little injury icon there, or a warning icon. So just check on the status of Shah, because he may have picked up an injury. You might need to keep an eye on that. See how he is for the next round of fixtures. And then we've got Diop at West Ham. So obviously West Ham kept a clean sheet against Norwich. He returned 8 points. 12 for the season. We've got Tim Cahill. Or is it Gary Cahill? I'm saying Tim Cahill. I think that was the Everton player, wasn't it? Tim Cahill. The Aussie. This one isn't Tim Cahill. This one's the one who's still playing. This is Gary Cahill. Used to play for Chelsea. He's at Crystal Palace. He returned 7 points. And he's quite a steady player, actually, Cahill. So it might be somebody, again, you want to just have in the squad. Maybe not one of your starting defenders, but definitely some value. And then here's Virgil van Dijk, Ballon d'Or, God, whatever you want to call him. Obviously he's just untouchable. The world's never seen a footballer quite like him before. He returned 7 points, 19 for the season. Patrick Van Aanholt, after his goal at Old Trafford, managed to have another good week. He returned 6 points, and again, it's some good value for Van Aanholt, 5.6 million. And then as we scroll down, you've got Kelly at Crystal Palace. I think I've got Kelly in my squad actually as a bit of a sort of backup defender. He returned 6 points. We've got Robertson at Liverpool, steady as always, 6 points. Matip, 6 points. Then we're on to the City defenders. Obviously, they had clean sheets. Walker, Zinchenko, Otamendi. And then we've got Ogbonna at West Ham. And as we scroll down, you've got the likes of Digne, Chilwell down at the bottom here. So as we go back to the top, you can see the best performance this week. If you had Masuaku in your team, Alexander-Arnold or Vestergaard, congratulations, you guys. You picked some really good defenders there for this game week 4. So let's take a look at the goalkeepers then. And the best performing goalkeeper of game week 4 was Fabianski at West Ham. He returned 7 points and has returned 13 for the season. And then you've got Gaeta at Crystal Palace again, 6 point return, so a nice steady week for him. You've got Adrian at Liverpool. Obviously, he's the man who's standing in for Alisson at the moment, and he returned 6 points, so steady performance from him. Obviously, he didn't have much to do against Burnley. Then you've got the man himself, Ederson. Fantastic performance against Brighton. To be fair to Brighton, they had a couple of opportunities against City. They were pretty dangerous on the break, as you know, and Ederson made some great saves. He managed to keep a clean sheet, and he returned 6 points. And then we've got Gunn at Southampton. Steady week again, 5 points. Foster, 5 points. Leno for Arsenal managed to return 3 points, even though 2 goals were let in. And then as we move down the list, you've got the likes of Dubravka, Lloris at Spurs, and then you've got Pickford down on 2 points. He obviously conceded some goals in the game against... who did Everton play against? They won 3-2. I can't remember for the life of me. And then we've got Pope, Schmeichel, De Gea. So all of these keepers sort of in and around the the lower sort of reaches of the goalkeeper charts, but steady enough. And to be honest, goalkeepers don't tend to get huge scores anyway. So yeah, we've got Pickford there, like I say, on 2 points. Not the greatest return, but he did concede 2 goals. It was a 3-2 win for Everton against Wolves. So back up to the top, you can see the best performing keepers: Fabianski, Gaeta at Palace, Adrian at Liverpool, or Ederson. I'm going to include Ederson in that list because he had a great weekend. So if you had any of these goalkeepers, well done, guys. You really did have a good week. You picked the best goalkeepers in the league. So let's go ahead then and take a look at the league standings, because I know that's what we're all interested in. We want to know where our teams are. We don't want to know, where we've moved to, how we've performed after the game week that we've just had. So let's just scroll down the league, and you can see we've got a new leader at the top of the Man City Fan TV league, and it's Centurions FC. It's Nick Fox. He returned 77 game week points, and his total is now 291. So fantastic week there for Nick Fox and his team, Centurions FC. Congratulations to you, my friend, top of the league. Early days though, nothing's won yet. We've got Pookie Patrol, which I like the name of, Pookie Patrol. Pookie didn't perform this week, so I'm not sure if you've got Pookie in your team, but you returned 85 points and 288 points in total. We've got Sir the Stew, Austin Ogren, returned 90 points, 284 overall. Chris Stomsey, who was our leader last week and has been leading the way for a couple of weeks now, is on 280 points, so he's still with him. We're only 11 points off the top, but he didn't have the greatest game week there, for only 48 points returned. So it just shows you that you can drop off. There's quite a big sort of fluctuation in the scores. You can have a week where you get, as low as sort of 30 points, and you can have weeks where you get 120, 130 points. So if you are lower down the league, do hang in there, because you can have good weeks and come right back up the league. And then we've got one of the Man City Fan TV regulars there, Kamal Dwyer. He's returned 75 points this week. He's on 271 for the season. Hannah Jackson is in there, Manchester City. I like that name, Hannah. 267 points for the season and 80 points for the week. We've got Gamer Stones. Gamer Stones is always there or thereabouts. 267 points for the week. Sorry, not for the week. That would be a good week overall. And 98 for the week. So that's still a very strong week. 98 points. And then Two Girls, One Schlup. Fantastic name. 266 for the season. 58 points this week. Broken Benjamin. 81 points for the week. 266. And then we've got the Bald Frauds, 9320. That make up the top 10. They're on 265. So 66 points for the week. So let's just scroll down then. We've looked at the top 10 there, but let's just scroll down the list and try and pick out some of the ones that just stand out to me. So you can see here, Rolmit, Joe Bradford, a cracking week, 96 points. He's up there on 262 points for the season. We've got Scotty's Ballers. Not the best of weeks, only 56 points, but it's still 255 overall. As we scroll down, we've got Blue Moon Rising FC, Abby. Not the best of weeks there for Abby, 53 points, 252 points overall. We've got Mathers FC. And then we've got the main man himself, Andy, Man City Fan TV. Sort of middle of the road kind of week there, 63 points for Andy, 250 points overall. But he is sort of king of the presenters at the moment. He's up there in 25th position. And then as we scroll down, we've got Salt and Pepper FC, 79 points. We've got Walleys at the wheel, who returned 81. That's a good week, and 248 overall. We're going to scroll down. Faisal, 85 points this week, 247 overall. As we move down, we've got Random Second. So we've got Random Second there, returned only 52 points for the week. So not the best week there for Random Second. Random Second has been up towards the very top of the league, but they've slipped down a little bit, and they're on 243 now overall. And then as we scroll down, we've got Blue Moon FC, Nick Gidi. Quite a poor week there for Nick. He's on 42 points, and not the best week. Not the end of the world, but it's not it's not one of the highest scores, and he's on 235 overall. And then as we go to the next page, we will start at the top of the next page, and you can see we've got formidables. 50 points return, that's Gabriel Abella, 232 overall. As we scroll down a bit further, Kiam's wife, 59 points for the week. So my wife is still beating me in the league. 229 points over the whole season. And in our household at the moment, it looks like I'm going to be taking my wife out for a meal. If it continues this way, she's going to beat me. And as we scroll down the list, you can see we've got 2 silvers, 82 points. That's a great return for the week. 225 overall. We've got Blue Moon Rising FC, Chris Duffy, 67 points, 224. Scrappers FC had a good week, 83 points. That's pretty good. Iona Beats had a really good week. Strong week there for Iona. 82 points overall and 224. So you rose up the table there, Iona. So keep it up. You're doing well there. And as we scroll down the league a little bit more, you're going to see Winning Now FC on 56 points for the week. So the way it's going, they are going to win now. So quite an appropriate name. And as we continue down, we're getting into the lower reaches of the league. Now you can see if you've been paying attention that my name hasn't popped up yet. But Raw Shambles FC, Rob Raw, he has scored 45 points this week and he's on 203. So I think Rob has overtaken me in the league. So Rob will be very happy that that is the case. And then we've got Deneen Dynamos. So I think that's Bernard's team. He's on 64 points for the week. So not a bad week, pretty decent. And 198 overall. So Bernard's gone past me. My team here, Kiam FC, I returned 60 points for the week. I'm on 190 overall. I did spend 26 points doing my team up and making some changes. So that's going to be my excuse for the week. So don't laugh at me too much. That's my excuse. I think it's a pretty good excuse. But in reality, I'm not doing very well, am I? And then as we scroll down here, you've got Ryan Corrie's team, 67 for the week, 187. As we carry on down, Section 20, Manchester FC, City FC are on 43 for the week, 183 overall. So Section, you've got a bit of work to do, mate, if you want to get out of the relegation dogfight. And then as we scroll down the list, we've got Big Haddy United, Tom Parker, 48 for the week, 122 overall. And I think some of these guys here are the newer members of the league. You've got Football Crazy. And bottom of the league, Space Raider. Got a bit of work to do there, Space Raider. But it's early days, mate. Keep the faith. Keep plodding away. You got 42 points for the week. 93 overall. So keep the faith. Keep in there. Hang in, everyone. Even if you're down the lower reaches of the league, you've still got time to come back and actually do well in this league. So that's the end of the roundup for game week 4. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't yet subscribed to join the league, you still can do it. And this is how you go about joining our league. Go to fantasy.premierleague.com, and once you've logged in and created a profile, all you have to do is go to the Leagues tab at the top. Click on Create and Join New Leagues. Click on Join a League, Join a Private League, and then you just have to enter this code XLVA6E. Once you enter that code, hit Join League, and then you're in. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck with the rest of the Fantasy League season. Take care.